Hello, readers, viewers. I hope you're having a good day. Let's get started with this briefing. So, the US President's deadline is on again. For those who watched my previous video article, the region should be quite familiar by now. We have simply zoomed in to the area of interest. We can clearly see the F-15 shoot-down area and the dual Iranian port system I spoke about last time. I have added additional labels that should enlighten. I have added labels for Kuwait, its city, Kuwait City, Karg, also known as Kark Island, and the closest US military base of interest to us. As you can see, it is just 150 kilometers away from the possible target. That's about 93 miles away. The more I look at the situation, the more I believe this battle plan could be a serious contender for the start of full-scale US ground operations against Iran. Camp Buehring has always been a push-forward base. It has been used previously to push into Iraq, so a little excursion could easily deliver forces to Iran. US forces would have the benefit of solid air support until, maybe if, resistance becomes too much for a surge. If, and the operative word is if, at that point, US forces would hunker down under heavy US bombardment cover and build fortifications, then push ahead to the next town. They have lots of experience doing this from Afghanistan. This plan, it's just so crazy it just might work. It also allows for an ordered fallback plan if things get hairy. No crazy Iranian subs etc. to deal with. Could the Iranians have been so naive so as not to have seen this? We all saw that speech, so as they were referred to as Stone Age people, due to their ethnicity, according to the White House, it is possible they just don't want to deal with the mean green killing machine of the US. Only time will tell. I can honestly see why people in the US view most countries like this when it comes to military operations. History since Vietnam is on the US side. Enemies just get dumb all of a sudden. As the clock ticks down to I-Day, that's what I'm calling it, kind of like D-Day, will Iran be reduced to a failed status like Iraq and Libya were? The US military just knocked the sense completely out of those two. Is Iran next on the menu? The only option the Iranians have is to bleed US forces, to send home body bags every week, day in and day out, to do this for 8 years if necessary. That's a lot to ask of Stone Age people. Of course, my little armchair wargaming on this strategy by the US is just my intelligent speculation. I could be wrong, or this vector of attack could be a feint. The sound of the war drums get close. Kuwait is pretty small, and I believe it was Alistair Crook who pointed out sometimes the best defense can be an offense by Iran against Kuwait. If they can leverage their old ties in Kuwait, maybe, just maybe, Iran could pull a surprise out of their hat. 150 kilometers, 93 miles, is not much of a march for the US military. Under ideal conditions, armor can cover that in 2 days. The White House PR win would be astounding. They want to redraw the Iranian map. They said so. I wanted my viewers, readers, to know that all the pieces have come together for the US to try something realistic on the ground. Iran has to try and stop them if it wants to survive. This could be a very, very decisive operation if it gets executed.